Rajesh, why has no, I mean, apart from I think MTNL that had Pigeon, why has no ISP launched VoIP services? You can take.
Unfortunately, you are right. Why the Airtel has not launched the WhatsApp or anything? A telco licensed service provider, one head is there under the AGR. That's called other income. In other income, everything comes except some of the things which recently the TDSAT and the TRI has removed. Otherwise, if I am making any revenue from the consultancy even, not connected with the telco or with the advertisement, on everything I have to pay 8% license fee and 15% service tax. So I will be out of market immediately by 23%.
Is that you are now at 1 rupee a minute.
Yeah.
The market is at 2 paisa a minute. You can either cry about stopping that 2 paisa, or you can say, I will also have my 2 paisa a minute model, but I'll pay 23% tax on it. That's still better, right?
No.
I mean, is losing...
You are comparing with the free service.
No, there's no, every free service is subsidized by advertising. Somewhere it is subsidized. Somewhere some
But the
money
user
is made.
don't have to pay, na? Like in the WhatsApp, when you are using WhatsApp, you are not paying anything to WhatsApp.
That's okay, but somebody somewhere is paying Facebook, paying him lots of advertising money to be able to subsidize. There is a business model. These are profitable businesses. Somewhere somebody is paying, and they're paying tax on that. When I pay to Facebook or one of my companies pays, we pay tax. Tax is collected by government. Right? So I don't think that's, the point is, if I have a business where currently I'm charging 1 rupee, my competition has the capability to charge 2 paisa because I've been buying at 2 paisa and charging 1 rupee.
Mahesh.
1 second, hold on.
Yeah.
I am buying at 2 paisa, charging 1 rupee. He's buying at 2 paisa, charging 5 paisa. Alright. What is my right to demand protection?
Okay. Now I am coming to the mathematics, what you are saying. Why the Airtel has not started WhatsApp? If Airtel is starting WhatsApp, he will also give the same free services to the user. He will make the revenue from the advertisement. The WhatsApp is also making the revenue from the advertisement. WhatsApp is saving 15% and 8% both, while Airtel has to pay 15% and 8% on all the revenue generated through free application.
No, actually WhatsApp has to pay, and he can say they have to pay 14%. I mean, the service tax is payable, deductible, all of those taxes are payable.
Recently I have come through one of this press release or anything of one of the company, I am not naming that company, that as we are not established in India, we are outside the India, that's why this tax should not be applicable. And if I correctly say that you are not paying any 15% or anything, which the money is coming to outside the India pocket.
So just to clarify, WhatsApp is not charging anything, so there is zero revenue to WhatsApp as of now. We don't use this advertisement model in WhatsApp. So as of now, there is no revenue to.
What is my saying is that all the service provider are ready with the applications, similar application, but the issues are the moment Indian licensed service provider are starting these services, 8%, 15% is the additional amount what they have to pay over this application, whether they makes money or not.
So, but you've said that the other income is no longer a part of it, right?
No, other income is the part of the revenue share now, AGR.
It is now part of the,
Yeah.
It wasn't there earlier?
No, it was the earlier also, but some clarification has come for 2-3 item, which is acceptable that if you are paying any taxes or any government duty, that will be free from this AGR.
They have deliberately chosen not to do it, and now when these guys are becoming big, they say, "Roko." My point is, at least that point is an open market. Nothing stopped you. It was always there. You always knew it was happening. You chose to believe that you could lobby your way and stop it. Well, the market at some point, the consumers are voting by saying, I would prefer 5 paisa a minute over 1 rupee a minute.
Let's say that you have a telco today, an established telco, right? They decide that all people on their network, that everyone who's on their network, if they wish to make a voice call, they need to download an app. This app will route the voice call over the public internet. It will be an actual VoIP call. If the call is between two people on the same network, it will be app to app. Since this entity is a fully licensed telco, it has an access services license. They are also allowed to interconnect the VoIP and PSTN. So if I am on this network and I want to call somebody on another network, the telco, my telco, performs a VoIP to PSTN interconnection and completes that call. So, sorry, if I can just complete. what is preventing a company from adopting this business model? Is it at all possible? Is there any regulatory, is there anything in their license agreement that prevents them from doing this?
Yeah.
Would DOT have a problem with them doing this? And finally, commercially speaking, how would it work out?
Hey, I would think it is mostly just cannibalization. If I were to be Airtel, then I have the choice of charging somebody 30 paisa per minute on TDM networks, or I could now offer them an IP network and then drag down my revenues from 30 paisa to 5 paisa. So if I have the choice, why would I do 5 paisa? I'd always try to do 30 paisa, right?
Prashanto Roy. I've been a technology journalist for many years, but I now I'm here representing NASCOM. But just one point on that. Essentially, it's expensive to make a WhatsApp call on a cellular data network. So if you were, if you had a choice of making unless of course you are making a long distance call or something. So, and that is why if you were doing that, if you were making WhatsApp calls on data networks, on cellular data networks and not on Wi-Fi, you wouldn't actually be attenuating their revenue.
Do you have any data on the cost of making a VoIP call? How much it costs?
We've done that, but I don't have that offhand here. But it's more expensive than a local call, and it's obviously significantly less expensive than an international call.
So just basically, if you do some maths, what's the bit rate of a voice call? It's about 8 to 12 kbps, right?
Yeah.
So in 60 seconds of voice, you're using about 700 kilobytes, or at the most 1 MB, right, of data in a 1 minute call. What is the rate for 1 MB of data today?
That's about 23 paisa.
It's much less, actually.
What you are saying is right.
Yeah.
And 1 MB data as of now will cost you around 5 to 6 paisa.
Actually less, because if I look at it, my last Airtel rate was 2,000 rupees for 20 GB. Today's Reliance rate is 1 GB for 50 rupees, right? So you can actually calculate it. It comes to significantly lower than that. So what's been happening actually, Prasanto, is that the cell companies have been actually buying, or whatever, the cost of that bandwidth has been 2 to 3 paisa a minute. We've been selling it to us at 60 paisa to 1 rupee per minute when you do a voice call. When you do a WhatsApp call, it's actually 1/30th the cost on the same infrastructure, because all you're doing is paying for the data. The cost of the data itself, assuming similar bandwidths, actually WhatsApp is at a higher bandwidth rate, right? Even assuming similar bandwidths, it's actually 2 to 3 paisa a minute is the real cost, while the telcos have been skinning us to the rate to the point of 1 rupee, which is why today the entire Reliance announcement makes so much sense, because essentially they're saying, I'm buying for 2 paisa, I'm going to sell for 5 paisa. So the entire 50 rupees a GB is 5 paisa per MB of data, right? Which is 5 paisa a minute. So they've essentially brought it down to that. So this is a crash of the rates from 1 rupee to 5 paisa, and this margin was always there because the backhaul of all the telcos was an IP, which was at 2 paisa a minute, 2 paisa an MB.
Just to play devil's advocate on the pricing point, right? You mentioned how cheap it is. What happens to the telecom operators who currently make profits? And as a VC, there's nothing wrong with profits. But how do you then reconcile the fact that they will end up losing money, and you might actually have operators becoming defunct, and so you need a network? I'm just playing the devil's advocate, giving their arguments.
So the losing money, how does it come? It comes through an open market economic mechanism where the operators come together, bid for spectrum under an expectation that they all have of what they're going to make once they get that spectrum, right? While all the data is known to everybody that the cost of spectrum of bandwidth is crashing, VoIP is out there.
Well,
so they
also network rollout.
Network rollout. They all use independent third-party companies, and today nobody's putting too many towers. You just use somebody else's towers. So it's all very well to say network rollout, but there's not any huge amount of capex that's going out there. Even if you take a look at Airtel, they've actually outsourced parts of the business to IBM and various other people, and they're down to a small marketing company, right? So if you actually consider, it's the same Airtel that will go and say I'm losing money to the government, but on an earnings call will say I'm very profitable on data. Yeah. So I think you should take all of this with a pinch of salt. I would really come back and say that they bid the price up, knowing fully well what the market has, under the expectation that they could lobby the government into holding the gates and holding back VoIP. Nobody forced them to bid it up. They wanted that spectrum, right? Well, they took a bet and the bet didn't work out. Why does anybody else, why do we citizens and consumers have to pay for it?
So one of the things that came through in the DOT net neutrality report was that there is regulatory arbitrage. How would you address that argument?
Well, let them say there is a regulatory arbitrage and they're losing money, we'll address it.
No, it's not. This was the DOT saying, the DOT
Yeah,
committee saying there's a regulatory arbitrage.
DOT is saying regulatory arbitrage. Let's see what figures, why they're saying it's arbitrage, we'll address it. But they cannot make us ab initio statement there is arbitrage without producing any documents for the evidence for that. Secondly, considering the amount of money the telecom operators are making from the data services, as well as from the low-end consumers who are only on voice service, there's a very, particularly on SMSs, there's a particularly strong argument why prices should be reduced. So if there is regulatory arbitrage, it is because some services are much more expensive than they should be, particularly SMS, which is really a kind of data service in my view, which is being charged at intermediate rates between voice and data.
Yeah, so we need to understand this arbitrage in...
Identify yourself.
Ashwani Rana from Facebook. There is difference in voice and data, which we also come to know that it is telcos itself submitted to TRA calculation saying that it is 1/6 their revenues go for toss if people start using voice over IP instead of PSTN. But it is their own creation, I'm saying. Voice, those are the people who are selling their voice at whatever rate they want to sell it. It's not being regulated by TRA. It's forbearance. Similarly, data packs. Those are the people who are selling data packs. It's not WhatsApp or Facebook or Google or Microsoft. They are selling data packs in the market. It's same telcos. They are selling data packs, and they themselves have decided which rate they are going to sell it. It is also competition is driving this. So it is free market. So best thing what any entrepreneur can ask is.
But their argument
market.
Their argument is if you want free market, we have our businesses shackled by, for example, by let's say lawful interception requirements. We have to pay fees to the government for the voice services that we're providing, and the VoIP players are completely unshackled. So their argument is that why are these?
So I got to your point. Same service, same rule. But I'm saying it is not same service because it's not those application providers who are selling data packs. This control of selling of data or voice is with those telcos only. So that's the right they have got in lieu of that license or paying that fees.
On the broader issue of VoIP and the way forward in India, one other thing to keep in mind, apart from the license fee, the fact that the incumbents or some parties need to pay a license fee is the fact that the government is receiving this license fee. The reason I'm highlighting that is if it becomes an issue of getting a regulator to look at an argument for deregulation or allowing someone to do what seems to be a similar activity but where they will not be realizing the same revenue, you need to think about how you want to articulate that point, because the fact is that libertarian or arguments based on the fact that people should be allowed to innovate and so on are really good, but they will not always appeal to everyone. And within a specific system, you need to think of what the way forward should be.
My saying is, at that time, the issue, the bogey was level playing field. That those players has paid 1656 crore for the license, and you, 1 rupee license holder, are asking for this service free of cost. This was the bogey. But the main objective of the government should be how to benefit the user with the low cost of services. If you take present case also, if I am calling through the mobile, the US call, it is going around 15 rupees or 18 rupees. But at the same time, if I am calling through the VoIP, it is costing hardly a 15 paisa or 1 rupee.
So let me play the devil's advocate over here.
Yeah.
The argument that comes in is that you're providing calling, you're riding on our networks, and you're providing a service that we also provide at either free or at much lower cost. And so your service on our network is actually hurting our business. How would you respond to that?
When in 1995, when the mobile has come, it was at the cost of the DOT. Now BSNL. So at that time, the incumbent has to face some time. The technology has to change. When this small gazette has come, pager. Pager has been completely vanished by the mobile.
Right.
So whether the pager will say that you are riding on me or you are abolishing my technology, you cannot say. The technology has to march. You cannot be just lying that the rickshaw should be abolished because the Maruti has come.